for so long, and they consistently are picking him winning lane matchups. EDG has done a similar thing with Deft, so this is actually Forgiven's time to prove himself, or Deft to just continue his dominance on the international stage.
So that's going to be a big matchup that we will zero on as a group. But H2K, they also come into this game with a heavy heart. They're mourning the loss of their Call of Duty captain, Philip Klemenov, who passed away today as a result of a tragic car accident. The players are wearing black patches with the initials PK to honor his memory, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. Now, in this key battle, players with international reputations are matching up again for the first time since last year's group stage.
就对 H2K 这支队伍的话，去年也遇到嘛，去年也在 S 上面遇到了，觉得还是一个挺强的队伍。然后今年遇到的话，就感觉他们的中单还是以前那个就是韩国中单嘛，就大家都知道的。然后，其实上中的话我不是很了解嘛，就他们下路的话，其实以前也听说过是欧洲第 ADC Forgiven， 就很出名嘛，就。他们下路的话也是 Forgiven 的话，我看过他之前的比赛，觉得他对线，也是一个挺强的 AD 嘛。
Welcome back to the Player Experience stream live on Riot Games 2. I'm Daniel Dracos, joined by Zach Rusty Pie and our new special guest, Kiwi Kid. Welcome, Kiwi. Now, EDG and H2K all ready to square off, and for this game, we'll be zoomed in on the bottom lane, following Deft and Forgiven as they try to carry their teams to victory. Now, Forgiven, I'm from EU. I know all about this guy. He is an all-star. Kiwi, I wanted to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard about this guy. He has such a big reputation. It's amazing what he can do. I've seen so many videos of him in the past hour. Look at him just play out this fight, just sick mechanics. He sets up this trap, but look how fast he reacts to this. Oh my god, what happened to him?
He's statistically a little bit all over the shop, I will say. Kiwi Kid, he's had some good plays, but he's also never really with his team.
What kind of clip was those? I thought we were supposed to hype him up. Wait, I want to roll back. Wait. All right. All right,
well, that broke my focus.
Yeah,
so let's talk about Deft, since Kiwi is totally throwing that out. Look at those reaction times. We'll see if Deft has a little bit more hype to show us, if we're also going to see a few mistakes and a few highlight moments.
These are. Come on, these guys are at half HP. You already know he gets a double kill. Does he flash for this? Okay, good job, Deft. Yeah, just he flashed for that. He wants him to trade here, and I like that he pulled back a little on to bait him forward for the gank. That was really smart, actually. The support didn't even kite that.
All right. Kiwi Kid versus the Riot B-roll team here on Riot Games 2. But good to see that there was one play you liked, a little bit of mind game there, a little bit of pulling back. We'll see if there's any more plays as we get ready to head into the game. But guys, of course, you can head on over to Twitter, use the hashtag #AskTheCasters. If you have any questions, ask Kiwi Kid. Rusty, I've seen a lot of non-league related questions for Kiwi Kid, but we'll keep it focused on Forgiven versus Deft for this matchup. Although I am curious why you are so handsome. A lot of your followers wanted to know that one.
You know, I just shower almost every day and I brush my teeth. That's really all you need to be handsome. You know, if you're going hair in places you don't want, then you should probably just cut it. All right, there you go.
There's the insight. Now we'll keep it focused on League of Legends, but thank you. I never knew that was the secret. It makes so much sense now.
Shower almost every day.
Almost.
Hey, come on.
We're professionals. This is Worlds. There are bans. Of course, Rek'Sai taken off the table. Kennen, Cassio coming out as well. Now, do you think we're going to see the Lucian ban leveled against Forgiven once again? We did see it yesterday.
I feel like both of them can play the Lucian to a high level. I don't think EDG would be afraid of it to the point where they'd ban it. I think there's a lot of other champions, such as the Syndra, now that Cassio is gone, that they may even look towards as a higher priority.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's really any problematic ADC right now, and it would only really be a focus ban on somebody who maybe only plays Silver. But so yeah, I agree with Rusty.
Interesting coming in. Of course, Gnar, Kennen taking off the board. A lot of focus over to Otoame. It makes sense when we think about Mouse as kind of that weaker top lane, but Rumble may still be up and available. It feels like there's still a lot of decent picks for the top side of the map. Now, we're looking at Deft, Mako, Forgiven, Vander, but do you think that top lane will still be the bigger focus point here as Mouse has kind of failed to perform?
Yes and no. It's interesting. So H2K play a very different style. They called it win lane, win game on the analyst desk, and it is like that to an extent. Forgiven actually has the lowest kill participation in all of the AD carries at Worlds, but he has the highest CS differential at 20 minutes because he's effectively a top laner outside of winning the lane, or he's a mid laner that has nobody with him. And so they might focus Mouse, but that's simply because Forgiven just doesn't seem to want to be involved with the rest of the team's activities, and so they need to find another focal point.
Yeah, their playstyle is really Season 2, Season 3-esque, and I really like it because it's definitely not the meta right now where it's just like a lot of grouping and objective play. And it's just really cool to just see a different kind of playstyle develop. You can just tell by how much Jankos is trying to find the other jungler, by how much their playstyle relies on finding the other jungler, just to isolate lanes, everything.
Yeah, interesting to see. Jankos has been a big playmaker here now, facing down clear of two of the top junglers at this tournament, and definitely the top in their groups. But Nidalee's already been locked in, interestingly enough. How do you think this is going to affect the early bot lane play specifically? Is Nidalee going to be an issue?
It depends on the jungler matchup. They definitely, knowing their bot lane, they're gonna want something that can match up to Nidalee, and I'm probably guessing it's a Lee Sin. I don't know what else does just as well because Rek'Sai's banned.
I mean, there's Hecarim for jungling as well. There's a lot of options, but none of them are like the S tier level that the Nidalee will be with the Rek'Sai off the table. It's a difficult thing to play into, but there's always answers, and the difference is how they play stylistically, right? So the Lee Sin that you mentioned is going to be trying to find ganks. The Elise is also a very big one that can find ganks or farm depending on how they want to play it out.
Interestingly, it looks like bot lane picks may be the last on the table for EDG with their final rotation because they have picked up the Syndra as well as the Aurelia. Aurelia, we've seen Mouse try his hand at it already. Syndra has remained one of the most popular champions in the world stage, just behind Nidalee, who's currently at 100%. Syndra hovering pretty close to that. Kind of surprising to see Syndra go through uncontested here, and something I completely missed looking at those top lane bans.
Yeah, a lot of people think Syndra and Nidalee are the top tier right now, and I don't disagree. It's kind of interesting what Ryu will pick into Syndra and Nidalee. It's very decently strong laning and a lot of pressure. I feel like they might even save their ADC pick. I just get this random feeling. I don't know why, but
They may hide it.
yeah.
There's always, there's like a Sivir that could potentially go with it if they want to pick it and last pick for Forgiven, but he knows what he's against, right?
Exactly.
It's funny, we hovered Lissandra. I, for one, actually would like to see it for once at Worlds, because look at what he is against. I think it's actually one of the better denial picks against the Syndra that can still be offensive.
Right. I just heard Lissandra into Syndra is a little bit difficult.
Yes.
So.
Interesting on the setup here in the draft. We noticed the first rotation Karma and Nami taken off the table. Our H2K seem like they have kind of set themselves up both for the flex pick and for winning bottom lane with the double range here. Should this give them an edge if they do have the Ezreal Karma lane? Is there anything that EDG can really respond with?
I think this will give them the winning lane no matter what. They can play for defensive with Braum. I think Karma beats Tahm Kench because I think any shield is really good if you can just trade with the ADC, and if your ADC has a shield, it'll be really good just force the E and you'll still win the trade. This is better to just absorb. Braum's a lot better to just absorb skill shots, so.
Yeah, it looks like EDG's response is more about just surviving through that laning phase, especially if they go for this one, right?
If they go for Alistar, no, he's gonna take Ignite and go Thunderlords, and this lane, you actually can't play defensive in this lane. You need to all in because this Ezreal Karma is so poke heavy that if you just try to play defensive, you're just gonna lose. Like Alistar, this is gonna make bottom a bloodbath. Like you're gonna see Lee Sin and Nidalee play the bot lane so much, but also I think Aurelia Rumble is very dually as well, so this is gonna be a bloodbath.
Well, and we've also got a Syndra here who can be away from the bot and can just also look to kill people, as we've seen so many times. So we'll wait for the final pick to come in here, but what makes the most sense to focus from each team? Because all these lanes seem pretty set to be explosive.
This might happen, actually. Yeah, I was considering because Karma can be a flex that Tahm Kench is one of the better picks, even barred into the Alistar.
Right. Yeah, this could be fine.
Or not. Or it's a Vladimir. Okay, so we got the Karma Ezreal. We've got this aggressive bottom lane up against the Thunderlord's Ignite Cow, which we've seen be very important as an engaged tool. Now, you said absolute bloodbath here. When can we expect that bloodbath to start? When are they going to start trying to force these engages?
It could be as early up to level 3. Like, you're going to look... Alistar can look for anything from level 2 to 5 with the flash, and they really need to get something off because this Ezreal Karma lane will like absolutely destroy Jhin Alistar unless they don't like space it right.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of communication that's going on because every lane is gankable for both sides, except yeah, actually pretty much every side. So you're gonna see like if bottom's pulling back, then they might need top to push. There's gonna be a lot of you just need to tell your team what you're doing.
Yeah, the way I see this bottom lane in particular as well though, right, is the Alistar Jhin has one good shot at it, and if they mess it up or the jungler does it wrong or they get counter ganked and it goes poorly, it's a Jhin Alistar that can fall behind against the poke composition that the Ezreal and Karma can force down on them.
Pretty
That's
scary
pretty
place
risky.
to be. Yeah, of course. Be sure to send in your AD carry questions using the Twitter hashtag #AskTheCasters. We'll bring you responses throughout the game. I know we've already got a couple. Once we get in the game, we'll start bringing those up and discussing them overall. But I like that we've set this up as a bloodbath in every lane. So we've been inconsistent in these focus streams. Sometimes everyone's killing each other in lanes. Sometimes people are farming it out and we look elsewhere. But I like that every single lane is set to be explosive. That feels like we've set up for a pretty exciting game of League of Legends, at least in the early lane phase.
Yeah, I think again we said win lane, win game is a strategy that H2K have, but it also feels like they're bringing it into EDG's domain. You try and fight an LPL team, they'll usually fight you back, and more often than not, they'll win those fights. So it's a bit of a risk here.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that H2K aren't really faltering and changing their game plan and game style against any team. They have the perfect setup for their play style, and you know, it looks like a really comfortable draft for them. Although I am worried if it's not a bloodbath, like if I am wrong, I think EDG has the better like scaling comp. Like if it's just 0-0-0 at level 6.
Interesting. We'll have to see if that is going to come out. Now I want to hit one of these Twitter questions. At MJ_1209 asks, who do you guys think these both teams should focus the snowball? So where do you think they should shift their focus? We've talked about every lane being explosive. Also, love ya Kiwi at the end, just in case you needed that.
I think it's better for Lee Sin to be a little bit reactive to Nidalee in this, at least for this bottom lane duo. If they both start topside, Lee Sin wants to make sure the flash Q Alistar gank with Nidalee does not happen. So he wants to be matching Nidalee almost always unless he has vision of her and can do something else while he tells the side to play safe. So you can't really focus a lane in this meta. You just have to play the map and just sometimes play opposite of your jungler, and that's pretty much it.
Is it the same story for Clearlove here as well, where are both these junglers just waiting to find an opening based on where they see the enemy, or should Clearlove maybe just go straight to a lane?
Clearlove can do whatever he wants. Oh, this is such a good trade. Wait, what? Wait, what?
This is the trade.
So this is the trade.
Oh, that's exactly what he's talking about.
Whoops. Sorry, guys.
All right, good job.
Kiwi's 3 seconds ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
No. I'm 3 seconds ahead of the future. I'm sorry, guys. Shit.
The prophet has spoken, and most of it has been inappropriate thus far.
Oh!
Well, you wanted the bloodbath. We're not even waiting until level 2.
Okay, well,
Deft's gonna give it to you, as it turns out.
I think H2K lost this late already. So I think EDG just wins.
Okay, so yes, they've won the lane. I understand that Ezreal has just died at level 1 as you're in hysterics at this stage. We can watch this again, your predictive skills at work. What happens here, Kiwi?
Just Vanna just face checks Brush for no reason. Wait, I don't even know what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I know what he's trying to do, but there's no reason he should do that without just at least firing a Q first. I think they thought Nidalee was going for some kind of weird red start, and they just wanted to be sure to chunk him out, but oh god, this is going to be...
Yeah, it's Ignite Alistar as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't ward before you walk into a bush, it's pretty dangerous.
All right, the good news is Jhin has not spent this money yet. The experience difference between these guys isn't insanely high. Is there anything that Forgiven and Vander can do to get this lane back under control?
Yeah, they can like hope there's an early soul in the game. Actually, no, that got fixed, but they let me think. Karma needs to hit every Q on depth, I think. And
yeah.
It's so hard because level 1, Karma Ezreal is the strongest, like almost in the game. Like nothing can really beat it. They can force Alistar off the wave, and Alistar's level 1 and 2 are like the weakest in the game. So it just sucks that they can't capitalize on that. And now it's really easy for him to play for a stalemate. Like I know I said before you can't, but look how much pressure Alistar's already putting out, and he's not really a lane bully.
Yeah, the scary thing to me, right, is they've just got the kill. Forgiven's been a bit behind now, as is Vander by having the... Obviously, he died, but the Alistar still has Flash So there's always going to be kill threats still.
Wow, yeah, that's a good call out. I didn't even realize. I thought he flashed for sure. Yeah, they have to play scared now. Like Karma can't go up for those Qs. Like I said, Karma has to hit those Qs on Def to like get their edge back into this lane. But you're so scared to do that against Alistar with Flash.
I mean, this is just a terrifying position to be in. Checking in on the other lanes, everything seems to be going okay. Ryu even has a pretty decent lead in the mid lane, but bot lane is going very poorly. And I mean, at this point, H2K are going to stall out. You talk about this kill aside, if they can stop the bleeding now, if they can just keep this lane stalling till level 6, like you mentioned earlier, is it going to be that bad for them?
It's still going to be pretty bad for them because the scaling on Alistar and Jhin are almost pretty insane compared to the other lane. But, I mean, it's the best they can do, and it's honestly better than trying to claw back and just dying to Alistar again.
Yeah, I think one of the best things they can do now is hope that Jankos ganks elsewhere, hold on for their lives. Forgiven and, I mean, Vander can sit back and farm the best they can, but it looks like instead...
this is good.
They're potentially in trouble. Does not have flash. Looks like it could be it.
This is good. This is great.
Goes in. It's a good spot to be. He does get the kick as well. This might be the turnaround.
Big.
Dang, they just got... They probably don't get that easy of a kill early if they overlook their summoners. Like, this is so good for H2K.
Yeah, big thing, of course, no flash on Deft, no heal on Deft. They're able to pick him up quite easily.
Well, and additionally, Maiko may have his Ignite back up, but more importantly, the flash coming in for Vander is now on the way, and this is going to mitigate a lot of that pressure earlier. And we'll take one look at this, but, I mean, what exactly happened here?
Def just trying to get CS. He doesn't have flash. Damn, I can't believe Maiko died too.
Yeah, Maiko tries to save Deft and dies for it, basically.
Yeah, he should have left, and he would still have flash too, so they lost. This is like the exact opposite of what happened level 1. Like, oh my gosh.
It's a bloodbath, but now that the lane is reset, we can take a chance to ask some of these Twitter questions. At LJH_Deadlie asks, why do you think we aren't seeing any Thresh recently?
Thresh is an extremely win game. And our win lane,
win game champion,
toss up the game kind of champion. You need to like almost absolutely crush your lane to even have a chance of winning, because his scaling is so horrendous. It's mostly because of his team fight. That's what he meant by scaling. A lot of supports want to be able to be useful in team fights, but you know, he has an escape spell. He has, you know, a single target CC, and that's almost pretty much it.
Yeah.
And it's just too risky. A lot of people don't want to play with it because, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of pressure for the support.
It is risky. I know that like when Thresh is seeing a lot of play, it was often into champions like Leona, because you can counter them with lane mechanics and get yourself going. He has a lot of things, but the current supports, at least in my opinion, just do it all a little bit better anyway.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't pick him over them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also forgot that a lot of junglers nowadays are getting really tanky. And yeah, before when he was like really popular, if you hit a hook on a jungler, they were like almost dead sometimes. And now it's like, you know, Rek'Sai can just get out and stuff. But you know, if Lee and Nidalee's resurge, I can definitely see Thresh getting up there.
Definitely an option. But now checking back in the laning phase, despite the kills now traded back, 61 to 43 the CS score. Def massively outfarming Forgiven here.
At least Forgiven has the kills, and it looks to be a lot better. Like, they're not getting shot to their turret, and yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
I mean, we are at a point where there's an advantage for items for Deft, having the BF sword and a long sword after it, so his attack directly, if they just hit each other, is always going to favor Deft. Even if they trade a Mystic shot at the same time as Deft's Q, he'll still win the trade as the Jhin, and they have healing from Maiko, so relative to the 2v2, they're now much more in it than they would have been at level 1 if things started equal. But there's also a lot of AD being bought by Forgiven, specifically because he can deal with the lane more effectively as he is auto-reliant.
You see the picture-in-picture up there. Looks like the 2v2 on the top side, top mid versus jungle, and Jankos does go down there, so small loss for EDG.
Solid roam by the Syndra. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Rinse and repeat, boys.
Yep, and the lane gank.
Oh, now
Bottom's getting ganked.
2 shots.
Combo my Maiko. Okay, they got a heal, and oh, they got every summoner. Oh, that's gonna be really good. Once Maiko hits 6, it's gonna be almost for sure an easy dive, especially with Irelia having TP. And
Yeah.
I think Rumble might have the TP top.
Yeah, a cool thing that we saw as well, Kiwi, when we were looking at spell timings is the flash isn't available for the Alistar, could have been a kill, but now it is when there isn't on the opposite side, and the same thing happened earlier.
Yeah,
so EDG were dying.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough. I like that Odo Omne saved teleport though, because he knows that bottom is going to be in a lot of danger soon. Yeah, but what I wanted to say about the BF sword, is that what people are they building Essence Reaver again, or is this just depth?
This is different, I would say. For the most part, we have continued to see the Yomus. This is kind of a depth
Yeah, I thought
special.
so too.
Yeah. I mean, like it could become a Duskblade and a Ghostblade, but it's very unlikely because that's not efficient. I'm surprised to be seeing this, and it's scaling heavy,
He has
right?
a hammer already, the Coldflower.
Caulfields, yeah.
Caulfields.
Cauliflower? Cauliflower Warhammer?
I'm pretty sure that's
I mean, I just don't know why you're not naming items for us. If we're
That's what
completely honest.
me and Cutie call it, cauliflower, so I'm sorry.
That's fair. I actually want to adopt that now.
How dare you? Of course, looking at the bottom lane, things, you know, still relatively passive here as the wave's getting pushed in. There's a lot going on in other lanes, but the bot lane seems to be so far just trading summoner spells. A big opening here for Deft and Mako, however, if they can capitalize on the summoner spells being down.
They can look. I would look for wards here. I would help. If I was Deft, I would help Alistar get wards, and Nidalee will be trailing soon. It's really cool when you guys see like Jhin roaming mid to help make a player blow a flash, but honestly, it's really hard against Vlad. So I guess he decided against it.
Yeah, deciding that maybe diving that bottom lane, as you said a couple of minutes ago, will be valuable now.
Your eyes on the Alistar. Looks like the
Alistar's
setup
going
is going in. Forgiven now in trouble and getting burned down. EDG.
Yeah, like I said, really easy dive. Maiko still even had flash. You know, just a textbook. No summoner's bot. Let's get this turret.
It's funny, we're like, with the AD carry highlight stream, it's Deft and Forgiven, but right now, it feels like EDG are playing the team and playing the map a lot better.
Yeah.
Honestly, they just continue to win out in the summoner spell trades, and it feels like it does all go back to Vanderface checking that bush at level 1.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, this Karma versus Alistar only gets worse for Karma. The scaling is just so bad.
We're watching Forgiven, but there's action on the top side. Forgiven wants to go down and catch the wave, but meanwhile, things are just at least getting a little bit easier for EDG as they do manage to take down Mouse, but now EDG, or for H2K, but EDG are now just going to take mid lane.
Oh yeah, if they can get, I don't think they can get it with this.
No, they won't get it with this wave, but what they can do is utilize the Syndra stun and the Jhin follow-up lockdown. It gives enough time for an Alistar who has flash to get in, so whenever the Vladimir disappears and roams to that top lane that we saw, there's so much presence between those three.
Really smart for them to back here instead of trying to force the turret down. They know that Lee and Rumble are about to come, and they got a really, really good back timings here. Maybe not gold-wise. I think gold-wise, though, as well, but they won't lose they'll lose nothing, pretty much.
Yeah, you can see Forgiven desperately trying to push this wave up, and you can see at the top of your screen there as well, CSD at 10 this game, negative 23. The summer 2016 average has been at least 8 to 9 ahead. So just kind of a testament to how rough this laning phase has been for them, honestly. Now the Essence Reaver comes out as well, so that answers our question. It's not just an unconventional build past the Duskblade.
I didn't think it would be, but
I mean, you got to give it a shot, right? Maybe it'll come out sometime.
Yeah, I guess Def just likes the Essence Reaver. I mean, maybe he just likes having BF Sword. I know a lot of ADCs just like having BF Sword where they can buy it. You know, maybe just paying a tribute, a little throwback.
Yeah, see, the thing like that I guess dislike about his choice here is that the reason you go for the Essence Reaver build is it's the extra crit behind it, right? You'll do more damage overall with it also, but you lose the armor penetration, and Ezreal as a champion generally goes for armor also, which means he might be doing a little bit less damage overall to the AD carry in the 1v1, which signals to me he wants to be killing potentially the Lee Sin or the Rumble or someone coming at him and not doing any damage to the backline. He's going to be auto-reliant, not ult-reliant.
Oh, Clear Love in trouble. Looks like he's going to get knocked down here. Nice pick coming in from H2K.
Yeah, nice kick flash by Yankus. And yeah, as a Reaver, you sacrifice your spike with the Ghost Blade, but you get wave clear and more play-making potential once you get the Zeal. So
yeah, and you can sustain
I like
in lane
it. Like,
as
you
well,
kinda,
right?
You kind of really do need a lot of wave clear.
Curtain call knocked up.
Ooh,
Shots
switches to
Forgiven.
Forgiven.
He can just hold
He's
it.
going to hold this until like the last second, probably.
Whoa.
So really close.
Trying to thread the needle there. Doesn't
Really
quite
good, though.
hit it.
I think this will like reward them with the mid turret.
Good spot to be.
Yeah, at least in no ultimate, Vladimir is the only one that can be the last line of defense.
I really like Vander staying here. He's so low, and we all expect him to back, but without him staying, they probably would have been forced off the turret, so that was smart by Vander.
Good stuff. Looks like EDG are going to set up to take this one more time. Stun goes in. Snare not going to connect. But EDG continue the slow siege here, but H2K are making moves to respond.
Yeah, that is the pool burnt by Ryu also, which just means really risky if EDG were to push it.
So smart. Nidalee's going top, and they're just like, they know to just fall back, and while they know that H2K is reacting to mid, they just get almost free top turret. I think it's low. We'll see though.
I mean, they already have the Ocean Drake. They're looking to set up on top side. Equalizer comes down to clear out the wave. 3K gold lead coming over to EDG as well. I mean, it's looking pretty good for them at this point, moving up to 4K.
Oh, Equalizer's down. They could just jungle fight and...
Yeah, that's a big deal, right?
I think this is just free mid turret. Or,
So-
yeah, they can go Rip Shield too.
For clarity's sake as well, Kiwi, I know what you're saying, but jungle fight, when you're referencing the Rumble ult being down, do you think it's
Oh,
more
yeah.
important then, right?
Yeah, I would rather them get clear out that ping in the red corner brush, or just get any kind of wards in the red side. But this is fine too if they don't have any wards. I don't think Alizar has wards, so yeah, just taking Rip Hill, getting a clean reset. Like, that's what this game's about. If you're ahead, if you just cleanly reset every time, you'll almost like never lose, because it's so hard to throw when you have a clean reset. And by clean reset, I mean all your lanes are pushed out, and pretty much by the time you get back to your side of the map or your side of the river,
Yeah.
the opponent's creeps won't be on your side of the map. That's what I mean by clean reset. It's so important.
It's controlling the tempo of minion waves to minimize losses as well.
Exactly.
So if they want to make a play, but you really need to recall, you push, so that when you come back, it's just at your turret instead of already having damage on it.
Right.
Good to see, of course, H2K trying to push out the lanes themselves, and is Forgiven. May look to back here. We'll have to see. I want to get this question in because it's kind of time sensitive.
Okay.
At Chocolate Way asks, do you think Forgiven is going to buy the Triforce or the Iceborne Gauntlet in this game? And right now we're going to watch Mouse. Just get shut down there. But Triforce versus Iceborne Gauntlet, which one do you think is the better choice? And let's just kind of talk the itemization in general for Ezreal.
I really like Triforce now. You do a lot more damage. Like, I think you do a considerably amount more. So I always like Triforce. I think Forgiven is more of an Iceborne kind of guy on this kind of game, because you know you stop Alizar from initiating as well. You can poke out you can counter poke Nidalee and Jhin.
Armor available for the
Yeah,
Aurelia
you can
as
even
well.
kite Aurelia.
Yeah. I think there's utility behind slowing boots of mobility-based champions,
Right.
because it's got AoE Splash. You're one of the few champions that will also poke doing that. So like,
Yeah.
definitely, there is also the I'm the kind of person that will go for this item guys as well, but I think Iceborne Gauntlet makes a lot more sense. He doesn't need damage either, because look at his team composition.
Yeah, that's true.
Overall, it's going to be interesting. We just need him to complete the back. We know what's next on the menu. We'll find out eventually. Don't worry, Chocolate Way. But great, fantastic Twitter handle, by the way. But now EDG are continuing to push and continuing to apply this pressure. And what are really the options for H2K here to kind of stop this?
Oh,
Win this fight, I
that's
guess.
a little, yeah, hasty by
Make
a little forced, I guess. Not hasty.
Mouse.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
That's, yeah.
This is good.
I was just going to say, yeah.
This
couple.
is not going to allow EDG to get a clean reset if they just push hard enough. Okay, I guess nobody chased them, but maybe they can get some kind of mid pressure and wards. Like, yeah, just any kind of breathing loop is
So
important.
the reason it's not going to be clean, as you'll see them going toward Drake on your mini-map potentially as an objective, because once again they lost too much health, and so that clean reset you're mentioning isn't as possible, because you know they have to go to base, they don't have the choice of staying around, and the immediate movement from H2K is possible.
Yep, Mako forcing too hard and getting his whole team chunks. Yep, lost
Mouse.
the dragon.
Completing a teleport.
Yeah,
into-
that too.
into the whole
you just
team.
lose. Yeah, I mean, Odo Omne is higher level than Mouse. But I don't think most people would expect that.
Definitely interesting now. EDG finally setting up, hopefully to take this turret down. They've been trying for so long to get it done, but honestly, Ryu just has a ton of wave clear.
Yeah. We use the rock that they need right now, and they can actually they can definitely still win.
Yep, looks like it. Now, of course, we see the Iceborne Gauntlet does come out for Forgiven, kind of as predicted. Does give that slowing utility. On the opposite side for Deft, now working towards Zeal. What do you think is the optimal Zeal item in this case for the Jhin?
Definitely a rapid fire
Yeah.
cannon. The only other Zil item I like on that's even like remotely possible on Jhin is Phantom Dancer, and that's only if they have like a Zed, you know, a lot of just 1v1 people who want to single out your ADC.
Even then, Rapid Fire
even
still
then,
has,
Rapid Fire is probably better. Like, it's just so good on Jhin.
Doing a lot of that initial damage. Mako now moving up to back him up. We kind of just tracking the AD carries. It both seems like they're just kind of content to continue farming up. What are we kind of waiting for in terms of power for Forgiven? Is there any item that he needs before he really comes online here?
I think he's online now. He's gonna want, you know, Bork and stuff.
Flash traded for
Damn,
flash.
super good flash by Deft. He kind of predicted the reuse flash.
Yeah, that was actually very clever from Deft, I will admit. Having the foresight, I guess, to predict how much damage a Vladimir will do is actually a tough thing to do when you don't play the champion yourself. So recognizes Ryu's aggression, knows the counterplay to it cerebrally without actually having to react accordingly.
Yeah. I think it's gonna stalemate for a long time if they keep these lanes. Ryu's level 13 against level 10 Deft, so it's smart for Mako not trying to force anything and just spawn it out. Yeah, we just might be looking at this for like 10 minutes if the lanes don't change.
So as we see a little bit more aggression here from EDG in the mid lane, I want to ask you guys, how important are individual levels in a laning phase? Like, what is the difference between one level here? Because it's something that we talk about so much, but I don't think a lot of you are familiar with. Ooh, nice flash.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was very much focusing on the interaction that was happening just there as well.
Very appropriate, but let's talk a little bit about what a level advantage can mean.
For the laning phase?
Just for laning phase and in general.
I guess it's like, depends on the person's interpretation of laning phase. So are you talking about the lane that I was just talking about up top, or just like pre-6?
Let's just say in general. So let's talk about pre-6 first. Like, how important is an individual level?
An individual level, if you're under leveled by 1, you can't really even try to fight them. You're gonna lose no matter what. It's just everything counts so much in general, but even more during the laning phase, the early laning phases, and
Yeah, I think levels are incredibly valuable, also undervalued, I think, by a lot of people as to how important they can be. It's the difference between maybe 50 damage on a single spell. You have to remember that you gain 50 damage, but you're also gaining health and other things that will actually add towards the trading that you'll have. And the only champions or role that can be underleveled in a game is support, because their purpose isn't always to kill people, it's to keep your team alive, so their health is not getting thrown around willingly.
Yeah, because I mean, if you even think about numbers-wise, like a level of like at least like 50 health, sure, the difference between like 1200 and 1250 health is not much, but when you have 500 health, 550 is like the world to you.
And if you're trading every 7 seconds, there's like 100 difference between the damage and the health values. It adds up very quickly.
And of course, level 1 to level 2 unlocking a completely new ability. Level 3 as well for a lot of champions. So.
And then out of the like early laning phases, I basically just like to count the ultimates mostly, unless it's like a level 11 to like 15, 14. Yeah, it's mostly about the ultimate and just itemization.
Interesting. Of course, we do see Forgiven is now, not only does he have the Iceborne Gauntlet, but he has finished up the Muramana.
Yeah, he's strong.
Fully stacked, fully online. Jhin as well with the Rapid Fire Cannon as predicted. No Phantom Dancer, no Duelist this time around.
No, he wants to be able to crit people. Again, one of the cool things about Jhin is that you can guarantee a crit. So if you can time it with your Rapid Fire Cannon coming back up and available, longer range than people expect always does a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah, I want to see some fighting going on EDG's side. I said that EDG had better scaling, and I still could agree on that for the mid game. But when it gets to late, and I mean like support Karma level 16 late, I think maybe H2K like can not only fight them, but maybe even outscale them. Karma's level 16 is just insane with the shield, so.
Decent place to be, of course, being able to shield the whole team, as well as that kind of wombo combo of ults between the Vladimir and the Rumble.
Right. So, yeah, I think Rumble outscales too, so.
Yeah, really struggling to get things done though, EDG, honestly. Deft being in a side lane again like this means he'll be in a mismatched side lane, as Forgiven is consistently staying mid. They put him against Ryu, who'll have his Ghost, and knows the flash cooldown of Deft being the same as his own. Means that you can see Deft's immediate movement.
You can see it starts running away the second Ryu shows his face.
I like his solo Vlad just behind the turret. He's like scared for his life.
He's not just under the turret, he's gone,
Holy.
Well, more top lane action. Well, now on the bottom side of the map, Clearlove picks up that kill on Odoamne. Maybe that's the pick that they need. No.
Yeah, that's good. Clearlove knows what to do with this top lane matchup, and since the other two lanes are mixed match, he's like, whatever, you guys can deal with it.
Also, one of the most creative things that we have to mention about Clearlove is he's always going to the opposite side of the map than where you'd expect, and he's constantly ganking the top laner of Mouse.
Right.
At a time in the game where you expect him to be with his AD carry and support, getting vision for something around the middle lane or the Baron pit area, he always seems to be on the opposite side and gets cheeky things like that off.
Yeah, it's good. It's like what they really need to accelerate the game.
Yeah, because it does seem to be going very slow.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the best next step? Kiwi, you're talking about fighting, looking for those fights. How do they get the setup here?
I wanted to see everybody help out Jin and help him move around the map. Like, if Vlad is up there by himself, yeah, I don't think Jin, Alistar can take him down, but yeah, you need to call for your nid. You really need to get the Jin moving around.
Get that support, get that extra damage down.
Right.
Well, so far, 4K gold lead now present for EDG. H2K are slowly getting their way back into this game, trading objective for objective. But things still not very easy.
Yeah, also, again, while we're talking about item builds earlier from Deft, his choice to go to the Hex Drinker now indicates that he'll be a third item armor penetration build. I wouldn't be surprised if he skips the rest of it into a Maw and actually goes Infinity Edge, just because the Hex Drinker is valuable. But if he wanted to commit to a Maw, I'd actually think he's better off just going the armor penetration build that he forewent in this particular game.
Yeah, I think if he has enough for a BF sword on his next back, he's gonna get that and probably go for IE. If not, he's gonna go for the serrated dirk into the Maw. Like, a lot of is just like people just keep buying stuff. Like,
yeah,
they don't think, they just buy.
I mean, how important is it to come back with that extra 20 AD or 25 serrated dirk? You know, getting that extra damage. Is it worth it to just leave 1,000 gold in the bank and wait for the BS order?
It's probably not. Like, if you have like 12, if you're going back with 1,200 gold, you probably just want to get the dirk. I think. And
I mean, you have to remember how far it puts you behind in item timings as well. If you commit to the dirk, you need to finish the Maw, otherwise you won't have item slots.
Yeah, I forgot about the Frozen Gauntlet on Ezreal, and yeah, Rumble has a Zanya now, and even that cloth armor is enough to deter the serrated dirk buy into Maw. So yeah, I think I do like IE better.
Interesting spot to be, of course. We'll get one more Twitter question in while we have a little brief pause. @empty_regrets says, why are we not seeing Lucian more?
People are really liking just playmaking ADCs. And yeah, he's really short range, so he's getting punished by a lot of the supports right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of utility that the other ones also provide. So the Ezreal with the slow, Jhin with the lockdown, you've got Sivir with the ultimate. Lucian doesn't do something like that. He's actually just more of a power horse with damage that he can output. And so if the team composition requires damage, you might see Lucian. But even then, it needs to be taken into account that he is that short range AD carry that you mentioned. Can die, potentially.
Oh, forgiven. Ooh, flash out.
Close.
No Deathfire touch. Not going to burn down there, luckily. No Jhin waiting in the bushes either. Deft is on the top side, but very, very close. And, you know, kind of as we're talking about this, maybe one of the reasons we aren't seeing those short-range AD carries. Syndra in the meta means if she ever gets ahead, it feels like she has a free way to pop the Lucian, and he has absolutely zero counterplay.
Yeah.
I mean, if that wasn't an Ezreal, probably dead.
Yeah, I would like to see Lucian there, though. He could be like, you know, the Ghostblade, Black Cleaver into Maw. Like, that could be a really good build.
Which is actually a good point, because we spoke about the utility that the champions have. His comes through itemization choices, in which you need a physical damage team composition for it to be considered utility, whereas the rest can kind of just press their ultimates. He is 2-item reliant for that utility, as is Ezreal. I am surprised we aren't seeing more of it, but again, team composition and preference. Syndra can kill all of them. It's easier to kill the Lucian, so it might be riskier to pick it.
Interesting to see, of course. Hexdrinker may help mitigate that, but it's hard to tell. We'll see. Maybe Lucian will get picked up more. It was banned against H2K once already, but as the farming continues, as the mid game continues, we'll keep the clearer questions coming at, this one's hard, Lub H8 H94. Cade? In your opinion, why are tanky champs such as Alistar and Braum in the meta, but Leona, Nautilus, and Taric are not?
Alistar, he can guarantee a fight, and that's pretty much it. Like, that's really just the gist of it. None of the other ones can guarantee a fight, at least on their own. Like Alistar, you know, you have flash, you're probably gonna get a fight or a pick. Taric, the stun, it's just you can flash, but it's just so hard. Leona's ult, she's more of a skirmisher. She's not really a team fighter. And if you ever fall behind, you can never really get out. Alistar has a kind of breakaway free button. What was the other one? It was Leona. Oh, Nautilus.
Nautilus. Yeah.
I think I still kind of like Nautilus. I think Nautilus could maybe work. Maybe people just haven't put too many games on him.
I think there's a lot of cool things between, say, a Nautilus and a Jhin if the Alistar's not available. But
yeah,
Nautilus has a specific place, and I guess it's just not here yet.
Yeah, also his laning is really weak. That's probably why. Yeah, that's actually probably why.
Interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong. With picks like Leona, especially as a former Leona lover, sure, play pattern is just so linear. You go in, they know you have to go in. Alistar can disengage. Leona kind of can disengage, but it's just not the same.
She's like Kled for top lane.
It's so sad. Yeah, yeah.
You know what a Leona's gonna do. She has to go forward.
I don't know if I'm supposed to rat on Leona's kid. Sorry.
I mean, I think you're welcome to criticism.
I wish
Don't call it garbage, but healthy criticism.
Nah, I wish she could just E on to her allies. Like, just a simple change like that, maybe she'd actually be good. Like, you can gank her right now, and she's actually really squishy. Your W doesn't do as much as it used to. I mean,
what if you could choose who the W went on? And give them like 50
that'd be pretty
armor.
cool too.
Yeah, that'd be super in the bottom lane. Forgiven trying to make his way down, but you can see it in the picture. Def trying to make his way there as well as a massive team fight as we look to shift focus.
Ooh, the counter.
He's trying to make it out, cleaning up house. Buying a bit of time here. This is very disastrous. Mouse stuns Vander. There's the chain CC coming in. Locked up, snared. Honestly, EDG just outperforming here in the team fight. Double kill the Mouse.
That build, the Merc into the cowl, really paying off for Mouse there. They couldn't take him down, and they just get punished.
It's funny because both AD carries effectively did nothing in that last fight. There was the Jhin ultimate, and I think he was in range for a W, but by the time he got there, everybody was already dead, whereas Forgiven basically spent the whole time running away, just pressing his Q, trying to make things happen.
Right.
And this is the scary thing about League of Legends right now, is look at all of the threats actually on Summoner's Rift that can kill you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Forgiven, you have to respect every single member of EDG. If you're in flash range of the Alistar, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
The opposite can be said. Def does need to respect the Rumble, Police In, and everybody else.
Close there for Forgiven. Almost gets the steal. Clear love. A little bit too veteran. Keeps patient on the smite, does get it in the end, but I mean, you're right, it's kind of a terrifying spot to be. There's an Aurelia who can solo kill you, there's a Syndra who can solo kill you, and there's a Deft who, if you're not paying attention, will just snare you and curtain call it up.
It's looking really rough for H2K.
I mean, 8K gold lead, we're 32 minutes in, the kill score kind of close, but 4 turrets to 2, 3 dragons as well backing them up. It looks pretty grim. What do you think is the next move here for H2K? Do they just have to hold on?
Yep. They just need to try to keep holding on to stall. They can still win if they somehow just stall it out till Karma 16.
Yeah. I mean, with the Baron buff on EDG, you have to just stall and survive. They're going to be too strong, and they're going to have too much control of the minion waves to actually allow you to do something. But there's the window once the Baron's down that if you feel like a desperation flank or an all-in team fight is a requirement, you do have a level 16 Rumble and Vladimir. You have the Ezreal as well. That combo is nasty if you can actually hit it.
Yeah. They have so much. They can do so much with this comp.
You sound so heartbroken, Kiwi. You sound like you were hoping such a close game, and now we're watching one team.
Maybe this is why I've always been bad, because I'm still thinking about that Karma play at level 1. Just like stuff
it just haunts you.
I did something like that in a Spirit and we're just like remake, because like when you sacrifice Karma's lane like that, you just want to, man, you just really just want to cry, especially against an Alistar.
Vander's keeping it together okay. No tears coming in from him, but it's a lot of damage that's coming down. First ball comes out. Yanko's just holding still.
Yeah, I think that's but he's probably just held still.
Engage there.
That's big though from Ryu. Just didn't really have the follow-up because if Odo plays down the equalizer.
They forced the ult, that's so good.
But now, yeah, because EDG have just forced the ult.
They'll probably never be scared now. They're an ult up.
Forgiven every time that snare lands and Forgiven he's in trouble, but continuing to pressure up. Forgiven just staying as far back as he can, whereas Def gets the luxury of that long-range snare, just trying to set up the rest of his team.
Yeah.
Super good by EDG. Just immediately, I rather pressures mid a little bit just to get the inhib, and then you can see no hesitation. I rather is going top and the other 4 going bots.
Well, despite all the losses across the map for EDG, Forgiven is doing okay in the CS department, is about 40 up over Deft, and has picked up the Blade of the Rune King as well as the Hex Drinker here, so is a little bit safer overall. What are your thoughts on Blade of the Rune King on Ezreal?
Yeah, I think it's a must buy. It's just really great with his Q. You know, if he ease in and force somebody, it gives him playmaking potential, and it helps him peel against Irelia as well.
There's 2 Rylai Crystal Scepter purchases as well as the Spirit Visage also, so there's a lot of health stacking which helps.
Yeah.
In terms of his damage output, and lifesteal and survivability is essential for Ezreal.
Yeah, Mouse on the top side though, now taking down that inhibitor. So as great as the board may be, it doesn't look like Forgiven is going to get the opportunity to use it. Similar to last game, we're just seeing EDG press their advantage home here.
Yeah.
Bit of an outplay top.
Oh. Mouse looking maybe to outplay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, nice. You see
But
it in the
meanwhile,
picture. Meanwhile, the game is ending while we look for the highlight reel here.
Very clinical base breaking by EDG, and they'll be reloaded for the game soon.
Yeah, kind of a long, slow goodbye here.
I put my casting career on that. The EDG will win.
I feel like that's a pretty safe bet, to be honest with you here,
I like
Kiwi.
that.
Hey, some people would bet this as safe as this before. It's like
Yep.
INTC versus EDG.
Yep, that's
People
why I'm
would've
not
lost
doing it.
Someone somewhere lost their casting career,
Yeah.
is what you're telling us.
Yeah, somebody.
I think a couple of unfortunate things did happen there. EDG could have ended the game, but Syndra wasted the ultimate as well, so they didn't actually have a lot of kill threat as a follow-up, because Ryu used his puddle to actually dodge that. And so they do have to reset one more time. It should be a final push you'd expect from EDG, though.
Interesting fact coming in. We got stats in our ear. So apparently Forgiven getting more than 30% of his team's CS, while Def was in the mid-20s. So you can see how many more resources Forgiven is soaking up here. But unfortunately, in all these circumstances, just has not gotten the opportunity to kind of use that.
Yeah. Major difference between both of them, I find, as well, is that Forgiven spent 10 to 15 minutes maybe just sitting mid, like last-hitting minions with the Q, whereas Deft would rotate, try and do something, and then go back top to catch the wave that was crashing. And that's the big difference between these teams, I think.
That's his Reaver, CDR pulling through. I like it. Fits the play style, at least of the comp. I don't know about him so well. He's so good. He can play whatever. He can do whatever he wants.
Feels like just Deft things, right?
Yeah. Definitely having a solid game thus far.
Yeah, like he could just be doing just because he disrespects H2K, and you know we're here praising his ass. So what can we even do?
I mean, he's essentially between the Ocean Drake, has unlimited mana at this stage, and has been able to continue to poke. So at least there are some perks to the build.
Right.
However, Forgiven is doing his best to slow the creep wave. Once again, Curtain Call comes out.
Yep. More so just a zone, but
Blue Trinket there. Yanko's going in, and maybe going out just as quickly. Ryu in trouble. Trying to wait on that pool, it looks like.
That's just so strong now. He's not really scared.
Oh, goes in on Scout. Nice head
God, that
back.
was such a good.
that
flash
was,
headbutt.
yeah, lovely from Mako.
Oh, Forgiven.
You never really see many people flash headbutt. You always see the combo. You always see a flash pulverize, but never something like. You know, Alice is pretty straightforward, but creative, you know.
Really good frame of mind from EDG support.
Yeah, moving forward, fantastic play there going in for EDG. H2K make one last desperate stand, but the gold far too great in favor of EDG.
Super good team, right?
I mean, at the end of the day, clean win coming in from Edward Gaming. It was a little bit stalled out there in the mid game, but the second they found that pick, they transitioned it into Baron, and it's a pretty quick close.
Yeah, very convincing by the end of it, but it all did kick off from a thing that still tilts Kiwi to this exact moment, I think.
So first off, Karma face check was terrible. We can say that. Vander making a big mistake there, probably overconfident in his read on where Nidalee was starting in the jungle, but I mean, the lane wasn't that clean and simple. H2K did come bottom lane and get that double kill as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice double kill, but I feel like I was trying to hype it up too much. I kind of felt like it wasn't going to do much. Like, I'm telling you, this Karma Alistar level 1 and 2 is like the most important